Already.
Hey everybody, I'm Bill. We've got Zap right over there. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Today is December 14th. We're on episode 58 of Run Jump Stomp. And guess what? This is our Game of the Year awards. This is our last podcast of the year before we come back in January. And we're going to cap it off with the Game of the Year awards that you guys helped us select the categories. You guys helped us nominate. You guys voted. Thank you so much for helping us out with that. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. Are you excited for this, Zap?
I'm pumped. I'm pumped. This is going to be a good final show.
I agree. So let's just get right into it. The first category, and I figured what we could do is we'll talk about the first category and maybe our gut reactions for each one of the games that were nominated, and then you'll do yours, or we'll take turns going first. You can do yours the first one, then I'll say what mine is, and then we'll say what the audience picked.
Okay.
That sound good?
That sounds good.
All right. So the first category is Best Narrative, and this category had 4 nominations. The nominations were Inside, Firewatch, Dishonored 2, and Stardew Valley. Which one do you think? Well, is there any there that really? Well, is there any there that you didn't play?
I didn't play Inside, or I haven't played much of Stardew Valley. So those are the two that I don't know too much about. Dishonored 2 I've played a bit of, and Firewatch I've played through.
You're a little quiet. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Is that any better?
Oh, that's way better. Okay.
Yeah, I'll eat my microphone. I'll say that again. Basically, Inside and Stardew Valley. I haven't played any of Inside. Played a little bit of Stardew Valley. Played more of Dishonored 2 and Firewatch.
Of these games, personally, the only one that I played was Firewatch. Now, I've never even heard of Inside. What is that? Do you know?
I believe it's a indie developed game. I'm trying to think. It was a long time. It was earlier in the year when I played this, and I've slept drunk and done different things since then. It's a puzzle platformer adventure video game. It's developed by Playdead, was the publishers. So I believe it was like this really dark and mysterious puzzle game, which I do think had quite a good story to it. Like I said, I played a little bit of it back when it released, but not a lot. It kind of didn't really capture my imagination too much, and I think it's something I have to go back to.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. Snow Goes Ham said that Inside is the sequel to Limbo, which I loved. Limbo. Limbo had this really neat art style. Maybe I'll definitely have to check out Inside. Firewatch was a game where you played a guy who decided he had enough of his old life and wanted to go live in like the forest reserve in North America, and keep an eye out for fires, and just a really interesting story where he's talking to another person who's on Firewatch, and kind of solving a mystery along the way. Then there's Dishonored 2. You want to give him a quick rundown of that game?
Yeah, it's an action stealth video game developed by Arcane Studios and published by Bethesda. Was released late this year. Was the sequel to Dishonored, the first Dishonored, where set a few years after the incidents of the first Dishonored. No story spoilers included. And you can play 2 characters, Corvo and Emily, and follow their story through the events of Dishonored 2.
And then the last game that was nominated here is Stardew Valley, which is a game I haven't played very much of Stardew Valley, so I don't know much about the narrative. But people love this game. Basically, it's a Harvest Moon, an homage to Harvest Moon. So those were the games nominated for Best Narrative. Which one did you pick for Best Narrative?
I personally picked Firewatch.
And I also picked Firewatch. You want to announce who won?
The votes of the people went to Dishonored 2.
That's right. Dishonored 2 won with 57.1% of the vote. Like, it destroyed everybody else. Like, that surprised me. That really makes me want to try out Dishonored 2. I never finished the first one. I definitely have to finish the first one and then pick up the second one, because if it won the fans' choice or the viewers' choice for best narrative, that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, that absolutely destroyed it, and Inside got one vote. So sorry for the person who voted for Inside, but just wasn't quite there for you.
All right, let's move on to the next category. That is best independent game. You want to read off the nominees for this one?
Yeah, the nominations were Stardew Valley, Chromagun, Subnautica, Fury, and Superhot. Same question goes to you, Run Jump. Out of the 5 games nominated, which one did you sit down and spend your time with?
Well, before I get into that, we should probably talk a little bit about what each game is. Now, Stardew Valley, we already mentioned. Chromagun is a puzzle game that felt like a love letter to Portal. Basically, you're in a test chamber, just like in Portal. You've got a gun, just like in Portal. It doesn't shoot bullets. Instead, it shoots paint, and you have to solve puzzles to get through. Can you tell us a little bit about Subnautica?
Nope, never played it. It's simple as that. I can look it up and sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I believe it was a game where you go through the sea, and apparently it was beautiful, stunning. These are the only things I've heard from people, and I don't. This is what Steam says, and this is going to direct from Steam. Descend into the depths of an alien underwater world filled with wonder and peril. Craft equipment, pilot submarines, and outsmart wildlife to explore lush coral reefs, volcanoes, and cave systems, and more. All while trying to survive. So Minecraft underwater, basically. There you go. That's what Subnautica is.
That sounds pretty awesome, actually. So that's Subnautica. I hadn't played that one either. Then there's Fury, F-U-R-I, which, again, I had not heard of. Have you had any experience with that game?
Yes, I spent hours with this game. This game is basically just a boss battle game. All it is take the combat of even the stress of something like the Soul series and add it to just constant boss battles. There's no running in between. There's no like trash mobs. It's just boss battle after boss battle, and it's learning rhythms and stuff like that. The art style is really cool. The music's fantastic, and I urge anybody who hasn't played Fury, go play it. Watch out for the weird bunny man, because that's just creepy. But there you go.
Fair enough. All right, and then we've got Superhot, which that's a game. It's a first-person shooter, and the idea behind Superhot is that the world doesn't move unless you are moving, which is a really strange way to describe a game. But basically, when you're playing, unless you can stand up and walk away and just look at it, and the game will completely freeze. But as soon as you put your hands back on the controls and start moving, the game will start to play again. And it's got a really weird art style. You can see it in the video right now. Very, very cool. So you asked which one of these games that I actually would have voted for or did vote for. Actually, I don't remember if I voted. Did I vote? I don't know that it matters if I voted, because I get to pick my own.
You get to do your vote now.
Yeah, I said I picked Chromagun. Chromagun, I streamed it, and it was really great, and I actually streamed it a couple times, and I beat that game. And I don't usually beat games because I usually get distracted. I see something shiny and I move on. What about you?
Well, this one was probably one of my hardest categories so far. I'm already 2 categories in. I was torn between Fury and Superhot. Both games I've sat down with and spent so much time. Super Hot I did in one sitting, and was drawn in by the way it was. So for me, it's Super Hot. Super Hot was one of my favourite games of this year.
All right, and the winner of the of chat said they had picked Stardew Valley as the winner. So Stardew Valley won with 47%. I'm rounding, of course. 47% of the vote was for Stardew Valley. And that the one thing that I do want to say about about Stardew Valley is that game was made by one guy, which is absolutely crazy. In a world where we have games that have these ridiculously huge budgets and teams of hundreds of people working on them, to have a game that's well received, made by one person, they definitely deserve it. It wasn't my favorite of these games, but I have no problem with Stardew Valley winning that.
I do, because my one didn't win, but congratulations, Stardew Valley.
Fair enough. What's the... I don't know whose turn it is. I've lost track already.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
All right, so best handheld game. There were 3 nominees. Pokemon Sun and Moon, which is for the 3DS. That's actually 2 games, but they're basically the same thing. Fire Emblem Fates, which, everybody knows what Pokemon is, so I'm not really going to go over that. Fire Emblem, however, is a top-down strategy JRPG with very intricate relationships between the characters. The game saves every move that you make, so if somebody dies, guess what? They're dead, they're gone, you move on. Very difficult, very fun game. And then the last game that was nominated for Best Handheld was World of Final Fantasy, which I know that you are a big fan of. So now that we've talked about those, which one did you pick?
World of Final Fantasy, straight up, because it's the only one I played out of the 3. Pokemon Sun and Moon, I haven't got 3DS yet. My birthday is in a week. And Fire Emblem Fates, I hadn't even heard of till now. So World of Final Fantasy took my vote.
Awesome. If you do get the DS for your birthday, Fire Emblem Fates is definitely a game that you should pick up. I'm going to actually go ahead. I'm really torn on this one. I haven't played World of Final Fantasy, so I definitely can't vote for it. But I am completely torn between Pokemon Sun and Moon and Fire Emblem Fates. They're both amazing games, but I think I'm going to give it to Pokemon myself. And the reason is because of all the Pokemon games that I've played, I feel like Sun and Moon is definitely the top one of the Pokemon games that I've played. And Fire Emblem, while I've played a lot of really good Fire Emblem games, Fates is not the best one that I've played. So there are previous years where Fire Emblem has just been a lot better. So I'm gonna say for my vote, it's Pokemon Sun and Moon for best handheld game this year. You want to go ahead and reveal the winner of the voters?
Yeah, the winner by it was actually a split decision between 2 games, and Pokemon Sun and Moon took the vote.
And nobody voted for Fire Emblem.
No. So anybody who wanted that game to win, I'm sorry again. But Pokemon Sun and Moon takes the best handheld game.
There you go. All right, the next category is best mobile phone game. Originally, when people had sent in their categories that they wanted us to do, they had handheld and mobile phone together, and I split those 2 up because I felt like that they deserved to be split up. So why don't we talk a little bit about these games now? The chances of us knowing about all these are pretty slim. I just put in what people had voted for, and if I'd not heard of it, I had never went back to it. So have you heard anything of this first one?
Nope.
All right, so the first one is Shadowverse, and I've never heard of it. So unfortunately, you know what? Why don't you talk a little bit about Fallout Shelter? My guess is that you've heard of that one, right?
Yeah, I played a bit of Fallout Shelter as well. Fallout
So,
Shelter works like. Go on.
I was just going to say, describe that while I find video of Shadowverse.
Yeah, so Fallout Shelter basically works like it's set up like XCOM. Is the best way I can describe it, where you're basically looking after. You are the overseer of a shelter in the Fallout universe, and you create your own shelter, and you have your people go in and out, in and out. They go off and do quests for you. They come back. Kind of a bit of a repetitive game in some sense. Apparently, Bethesda has really expanded it, and I haven't played it sort of for a while. But you just build this raid shelter, looking after I think they're called dwellers, over the course of however long you play it for. So it's a very cool game, and Bethesda announced that with the announce of Fallout 4, I believe.
Yes, yeah, they announced it the same. They announced it the same day that they announced Fallout 4, and they said, "And you can download that today."
That's it. Yes.
Fallout Shelter's still on my phone because I use the little stickers. On iOS, you can do like little stickers on iMessages, and I like the Fallout guys, like his thumbs up and stuff. So I still have it on my phone, even though I don't use it. I just use the stickers. So I went and I found some video of Shadowverse, which it looks to be a Magic the Gathering style or Hearthstone style game. It looks really nice. I haven't played it at all, but that's another game that was announced is Shadowverse, and I don't know. It looks really nice. I think that the art style is neat, and I have a hard time imagining that I would ever play this over Hearthstone, though. And I'm really completely surprised that that Hearthstone is not on here.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that.
Hearthstone was not nominated for Best Mobile Phone Game, although did that come out this year, or was that last year?
Hearthstone came out in about 2014.
Right, but it didn't come to Apple.
Mobile was last year.
Oh, it's last year. Okay. The next game that's on this is called You Have to Build a Boat. Have you ever played this?
No, but I'm guessing you have to build a boat.
You do have to build a boat, and it is available on Steam. It's available on iOS. Whoops, wrong button. It's a really good game. You are an adventurer. You look like Indiana Jones. You are on a boat with a skeleton and a zombie, and it's a match 3 style game where as you match 3 items, you end up getting stuff in order to make your boat better. It's really fun, and I think it's like $1.99. And if you've never checked out You Have to Build a Boat, then definitely check it out, because it's a really fun. Okay, I can sit down and play this for 2 minutes and then come back to it later, maybe.
Yeah, from the guys who did one something.
Yeah, one with a million zeros after it or something. I played that one too. They're both really good games, and as soon as I saw this, I saw that it was from the same guys, and it has a very similar art style as well. I immediately had to download it and try it out. So it's definitely a fun game and worth checking out. What else is nominated?
Egg Inc. Apparently, this is a farming simulator chicken thing.
Chicken thing.
In the near future, secret universes will be unlocked in a chicken egg. Wow. Okay. Okay. I'm reading this straight off the Android App Store because I have never heard of this game, but all of a sudden I want to download it. Get in on the gold rush and sell as many eggs as you can. So yeah, it's about chickens and chicken things. Yeah, so you're basically making chickens and selling the eggs. Wow, okay, that's different.
That's very different. That's interesting to me. That's funny. The next game on the list that was nominated as Clash Royale. I don't like those games really. like that whole series of games from those guys, and they've got like these huge, massive advertising budgets. They just don't really appeal to me. My son wanted to play that, but I couldn't figure out how to shut off chat, so I said he wasn't allowed to. And then the last one on the list is Pokemon Go, which everybody knows what Pokemon Go is.
What's Pokemon Go?
So for me, for best mobile phone game, I nominated You Have to Build a Boat, but I ended up voting for Pokemon Go because that's the game that I spent the most time on my phone playing. Like I had a blast playing Pokemon Go, and I caught a few today as well. So that's my vote. What did you vote for? Clash
Royale, straight up. It's been one of my favourite mobile phone games this year, and it is a very good alternative to things like Hearthstone. And if you're into card games, and give it a go, it's got a huge competitive scene in Asia. But it's a very solid card game.
Wait, okay, so I guess Clash Royale is not what I thought it was. I thought it was like Clash of Clans.
You thought Clash of Clans? No, Clash Royale is from the same people, but Clash Royale is basically a card game where you're fighting in lanes, and you try and take out the towers, and then try and take out the King's Tower, and it's very good. I think a lot of people see it as a very pay-to-win game because it's quite expensive to buy cards and stuff like that. But it's like Hearthstone. You can earn pretty much everything by just playing the damn game. So it is good fun.
All right. And the winner from the votes that you guys voted for best mobile phone game was by a landslide Pokemon Go. 53% of the vote.
Would never have seen that coming.
Really?
I'm joking.
Oh, okay. You were so deadpan.
I'm so serious.
I thought that I thought you were serious.
No, that also won best mobile game at the Video Game Awards this year.
Right. Yeah, I skipped through most of those. I forgot. So the next category, what is it?
Best development studio, and there's three development studios up for nominations here. And the first one is a little studio, goes by the name of Blizzard.
All right. The other one, or the next one, is Arcane Studios. Well, first, actually, let's go back. Blizzard released two big games this year. They released World of Warcraft Legion, which is the expansion to their MMO. They also released Overwatch. Both were widely received as really, really good games. Arcane Studios, what did they put out this year?
Dishonored 2 was their biggest title this year. And they're working on Prey that's coming out. It should be coming out next year.
Yeah, I watched the video, or the advertisement for Prey. And I remember Prey as being a game where you were like a Native American who got kidnapped by aliens. This does not seem to be the same game. They're just using the name and...
Yeah, that's what... When it was announced originally at E3, everyone saw the trailer and went, that's not Prey. But it is Prey. I'm confused.
Yeah,
pretty much like that.
I was confused about that too. The last one that was nominated was Square Enix.
Oh, I don't know what they're known for.
Well, they have two games out. No, 3 games out this year, don't they?
They did. Well, they had the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, they had two.
Tomb Raider was
this year in January, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a lot earlier in the year.
Yeah, and then after that, they had the Deus Ex Mankind Divided, or...
Technically, they've had 4 games out this year. So they've had, obviously, Tomb Raider was under Crystal Dynamics. IO Interactive brought out Deus Ex, and the Hitman series that came out this year.
Oh, okay.
Was also Square Enix. And, obviously, the big one, which was Final Fantasy 15.
Right.
And one of Final Fantasy. 5 games!
Wow, yeah, Square that's Enix, true, 5. Not to mention the 300 Final Fantasy mobile games that they put out this year.
Square Enix, you've been busy.
I gotta say,
wow.
I was a little excited about the idea of playing Final Fantasy 15, so I downloaded Final Fantasy Record Keeper for my phone.
Yep.
That game is awful. It's just so there's like the tutorial went on and on and on, and by the end I was like, there's so many different things that are going on. I don't understand how anybody can keep track of all this stuff.
It's a horrible game.
Snow Goes Ham said that they published Deus Ex but did not develop it. Okay. So
yeah, they've got studios under, so Square Enix, like a lot of companies, have a lot of development studios under them. Eidos Montreal was the developer behind Deus Ex, but they're owned by Square Enix. Crystal Dynamics did the Tomb Raider, owned by Square Enix. IO Interactive did Hitman, owned by Square Enix. Square Enix directly released World of Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 15.
All right.
So
what did you vote for?
The same umbrella. Me, it's Square Enix, because this love child this year has just been unbelievable. So I went for Square Enix.
I decided to go for Blizzard. I've had a ton of fun playing both the World of Warcraft expansion and Overwatch. Overwatch is a game. I'm not a shooter guy. I haven't been a guy that really plays shooters in years, and Overwatch brought me back. And they've done a lot of really good things for free with Overwatch as well. So I figured that they kind of deserved it. And the winner of Best Development Studio, who's the big winner, the big kahuna here? Who won?
By 62%, Blizzard. Blizzard absolutely smashed this one out of the park. Not surprised, really. Me personally was torn between Square Enix and Blizzard. So, but Blizzard took it, and rightly so. Very, very good year for Blizzard. Overwatch and the World of Warcraft expansion. Well done.
All right, what's the next category?
Most anticipated game for 2017. So this is one we're looking at in the future. And there's some good titles here. Some really, really good titles. Starting off at the top, Persona 5.
I've heard of the Persona games. What are they like? They're RPGs?
They're a JRPG. Persona. I think the easiest one to get a hold of I don't even know how you play it without a Vita or a PS3. Persona 4 Golden is something that I played. It's brought onto the Vita. It's a very good, very solid JRPG.
Isn't it like warring high school students or something?
Yeah. No, not quite. It's about high school students that get sucked into a TV. Is the Persona 4 Golden.
Okay.
Now you want to play?
I can roll with it. I can roll with it. That's all right. They get sucked into a TV. Hey, you know what? I watched Captain N the Game Master religiously when I was a kid.
It's just I don't understand the Japanese and the way they make their RPGs. But I don't know about you, Run Jump, but I play games to get away from real life. But when I got to play a character who's got to socialize with people in a game, it's like, oh my god, Japan, why do you make your RPGs like this? Anyway, it is a very good game. The battle system's incredible. So Persona 5 is something that's on my radar.
All right.
What's the next one before I lose it with sucking people in TVs?
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That is coming to the Wii U and the Switch, and it's the next Zelda game. What else do you have to say?
Not a lot. You got Mass Effect Andromeda, which I believe Run Jump, you did voice work for it. Do you know if you actually got involved in that?
No, I did not. I'm sure. I'm sure that they would have gotten a hold of us by now. I did an audition because they had open auditions, and I recorded myself saying the stuff, and then I looked at everybody else's, and I was like, well, theirs are all way better than mine. So clearly, these people have recording booths in their houses or something, because I was like, man, that sounds amazing.
Oh, dude.
The next game on the list. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say Mass Effect, we don't need to say too much, but I will say you don't need to play the first 3 to play the Andromeda that's been confirmed, so look out for that title.
Awesome.
The next one?
Kingdom Hearts 3. This is a series that I've never played because I didn't have a PS2, and I've always been definitely intrigued. It's basically Final Fantasy or a JRPG starring Disney characters.
It's beautiful. It's amazing. Kingdom Hearts is just an incredible series. I can't wait for number 3. It is so good. The next one on the list is For Honor with a capital H and O.
Oh, ho, ho.
Is that a Christmas typo?
That's a Christmas typo.
Yeah, so For Honor, if anybody hasn't played it, is a battle. I don't know how to describe it, because they keep making new genres, and you try and find the easiest way to describe these new genres. But it's just basically a multiplayer battle game. It has got PvE apparently, which is coming out, being made by Ubisoft. I played the alpha, and hopefully I'm involved in the beta that's coming up in the new year. This was an incredible fun game. You just went around slaughtering people. It's good fun, really good fun.
Yeah, I watched you play a little bit of it, and it reminded me of a game that I played a really long time ago, where you would control your sword with a joystick. And I'm not talking like the joysticks on current day controllers. I'm talking like a joystick where it was like you were holding it like this. And it was called Die by the Sword. And I put a lot of hours into Die by the Sword. And that was a 2-player game. My roommates and I would sit down, and we had joysticks hooked up to the computer, and we would fight each other all the time. And so For Honor looks really cool. And then the last one for most anticipated game is Halo Wars 2, which is basically it's an RTS on Xbox with in the Halo universe. The first one was really, really wildly successful, which surprised everyone, because everybody was like, you can't do an RTS on a controller, it's just not going to work right. And they found a way to do it. So what are you voting for?
I'm voting for this is a really difficult one because of like how much is coming up in 2017, and I'm torn between 2, and I got to vote for one, and I'm gonna go with what I played, and that is For Honor. I'm really excited for this game. This game looks so incredible, and Ubisoft are doing some really good stuff. So yeah, For Honor is my most anticipated game 2017.
My number 1 pick here, everybody knows already which one I'm going to pick, and that's going to be Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I am a die-hard Nintendo fan. I love Zelda games, and an completely open world Zelda, the way that in like Skyrim open world kind of stuff, that just really scratches an itch that I've been looking for. So that's the one that I would vote for. And the winner from chat for the most anticipated game actually surprised me, and that is and it didn't win. It didn't get a majority, but it won. More people voted for it than any other game, and that is Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda won with 40% of the vote. Still far more than anybody else, but I really expected Zelda to do a lot better than it did. So that surprised me.
It's in a tough category. Mass Effect is especially after the gameplay trailer they put out. It looks really solid.
Yeah, it
so
does.
That's a really tough category for any game in that category to win. So hats off to Mass Effect for winning it.
Hey, had I gotten a part in the game, I would have changed my vote. So take that. All right. The next category, what is it?
The next category is where is it? I've lost it. Best family game. This is quite a unique little category. So we've got Pokemon Sun and Moon, which we don't really need to say too much about Pokemon. We've established that.
Right, we got Pokemon Go.
Yeah. And we've got Jackbox 3.
Yeah, and okay, so we don't need to say much about Pokemon, but why don't you tell everybody about Jackbox real quick?
Jackbox is a fun multiplayer game that if one person owns it in your family, everyone else can join in. If they've got a tablet, a screen of some description, and that you get that has a net browser, you get sent a link and you can join the games. And there's some really wacky and cool little games in there. I think it's a clever little game. Really brings the whole party game thing with the family and friends back to the screen. But some of the games are really twisted. Some of them are
Yes.
really, really twisted, but they're also good fun.
Yeah, we played Jackbox 3 at Thanksgiving this. It was a hit. Everybody had a really fun time with it, and people were all laughing and stuff. And even every family has the fuddy-duddy who doesn't want to join in on anything. Even they were interested in playing this one. What did you vote for?
I voted for Jackbox 3.
I voted for Pokemon Go because I played that game with my family a ton. And the way do you guys see this this breakdown for this game, the pie charts? Look at this. Best family game. It was basically almost a three-way tie. 35-35. Well, actually, it's a two-way tie between Pokemon or Jackbox 3 and Pokemon Go. Pokemon Sun and Moon kind of got left out a little bit here. I think that's because you can totally play Pokemon Go Pokemon Sun and Moon without interacting with another real person, instead of just over the internet. Whereas the other games, they really require you to interact with other people.
I'll tell you what game I'm surprised that didn't make the list is Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. That's a great. If you haven't seen that, that's a great family game to try and play, especially when you've had a few beers.
Yeah, that's one that I haven't played myself, but I've heard of. And it was weird. Even my wife had heard of it because I had mentioned it to her the other day. I said, "Oh, you know what we should get for next time people are over is this game?" And she goes, "Oh, isn't that the one where one person has the directions and the other person has to defuse the bomb?" And I was like,
"That's it."
How did my wife hear about this? Because she does not care about video games at all. So that really surprised me. All right, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be back right after this. Stick around, everybody.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Can you imagine?
Okay, I'm back.
And we're back. There we go. Got everything working again. All right, the next category we did... I've forgotten now what we did a minute ago. What was the last one we did?
We did family game. We're on to best fighting game.
Ah, okay, best fighting game. Are you a guy that plays a lot of fighting games?
Not really.
Me either. Although, I really like certain fighting games. I love Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm a huge fan of Super Smash Brothers, but those are the only two that I really care about. So, what's the first one on the list?
The first one is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
I did not even know that they were making those games. Like, I've heard of Dragon Ball. I did not know that they made a fighting game out of it. Have you played it at all?
Oh, I haven't played it at all. I've heard it's not bad. I've heard it's pretty good in places. That's about it. That's all I've heard about it, really.
Here's a game I was really surprised to see on this list is that Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V had really horrible reviews. So much so that people were saying that Capcom was going to turn around and make Street Fighter 6 instead of supporting Street Fighter 5.
Mm.
So I was really surprised to see that on there.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to see it. I didn't realise it was released this year. It's got a good esports scene, but at the same time, it's a bit. I think it's the weakest one of the series.
The next one is Pokken Tournament, which is exclusive to the Wii U. It is basically Tekken Tournament with Pokemon. Now, I've never really been a Tekken kind of guy, but I've heard that Pokken Tournament is really, really good. And then the last one is
Killer Instinct Season 3.
Cool. I have not played any of these games, so I'm not going to vote on it.
Nor am I. I'm going to stay out of this one. Well, I played because it came with my PS4. I played some Street Fighter 5. I say some. Me and my wife played it when we were drunk. I thought I was the next eSport legend.
Did you win every match, or did she take you out every once in a while?
I'm not saying. We're just going to leave it at that.
Fair enough.
Let's just say prides were damaged.
So we can go ahead and say who won. And that would be Street Fighter V. So, like I said, I was surprised that Street Fighter V was even nominated for this, based on how almost ruined everything by scrolling. Based on how people reacted to Street Fighter V, but in an era where there's not a whole lot of fighting games, it's not a big surprise that people have to nominate every game. I feel like the era of the fighting game, the traditional fighting game that I grew up with, I feel like that's over. And it's a very niche market now, whereas when I was a kid, everybody played the fighting games. Like, you would go into the arcades and you would slap your quarters up on the thing, and you would say, all right, I got next. And we would crowd around the Mortal Kombat cabinet all the time. And that just doesn't happen now, and that's because arcades are dead.
This is true.
Are arcades dead over there in England?
Yeah or no. We have arcades down on the beaches and stuff like that, and they're always pretty busy in the summer.
So we have arcades, but they don't have video games in them anymore. It's like these things where you put in. Well, first off, you got to go up to a machine and put in $1, and then you get tokens out. They don't use quarters anymore. Then you use your tokens to play these games to try and get tickets, and then you can trade in the tickets for like the lamest prizes that you can find.
Yeah, that's what we have similar, but we do also have video games in our arcades.
Yeah,
we're still lucky.
Fair enough. I mean, there are video games here. It's just there's like 2 or 3 of them, and it used to be where it was just like so many really great video games were there. And there is an arcade in my town where you can go, and it's actually a pub, and you can go and
nice.
and they have only like old arcade games, which is cool. What's the next category?
Probably one of my favorite out of the award ceremony, best RPG. This is gonna be a good one. So top of the list, Pokemon Sun and Moon. Again, don't need to say too much.
Darkest Dungeon, which is a really interesting game. I was actually surprised that was a newer game, but I looked it up and it is. And Darkest Dungeon, basically, you have this. It's like a roguelike where you have to get a party of adventurers through a dungeon to complete a task. It's very, very difficult, and if somebody dies, you lose them permanently.
Yeah, very good game though. The third on the list is The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine expansion or DLC. Sorry, expansion DLC. Wow, The Witcher 3 still swinging in there.
Yep.
You alright? Carry on.
Dark Souls 3, which is another very, very difficult action RPG where you are going through a dungeon and you gotta defeat these bosses, and the bosses basically are like, usually like, it seems like one hit and you're dead. And then the last one?
And the last one is Final Fantasy 15, a game released literally a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, and is a very good RPG in its own right. I love the game, but I hate it at the same time. It is a wonderful game, but also there are so many things wrong with it. But it's a good game.
Well, I think of the games that I've played on here, see, I don't have a PS4, so I can't vote for Final Fantasy 15. So maybe in the future someday. Dark Souls 3, a lot of people like that game. I didn't like it, and I think it had to do with this. I have my Steam controller, and my Steam controller did not play Dark Souls 3 very well. And I didn't want to play it with a mouse and keyboard. So maybe I'll give it another shot if I ever get a different controller, or if it comes to the Switch, maybe. The Witcher 3, I have The Witcher 3. I haven't played through it yet. It's just sitting there. I bought it when it was on sale. So I guess for me, it was either down to Pokemon Sun and Moon or Darkest Dungeon. And I'm going to say Pokemon Sun and Moon is a really good RPG, and I had a lot of fun with it. What were you going to vote for?
Dark Souls 3. Straight up, been one of my favourite RPGs this year. So hard, so frustrating, but so good. So good.
Well, the votes are in, and it is actually... well, is it a tie? It is a tie, isn't it? It is a
tie in many ways.
It's a tie between The Witcher 3 and Dark Souls 3. And everybody else is tied for third, or for second, I guess. So it's pretty well split up. It's very surprising. I thought for sure that The Witcher 3 was going to destroy everybody in the category, but it didn't.
No, they're both... I mean, that's a solid category of games. It's another tough one, and if you had to pick one of them, it's going to be difficult. So, that seems like a fair choice.
All right, the next category is
Best Action Adventure Game.
Not a whole lot of nominations here. We only had 3 nominations. There's Dishonored 2, which we've already talked about.
We've got Doom, which I believe...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, which is obviously the new Doom that was released this year. And came out to critical acclaim. It was actually a very good game. It brought back the old school fast-paced shooter.
It did. And then the last one was Uncharted 4, which is those are PlayStation exclusive games, right?
They are indeed. Yeah. Basically, the male version of Tomb Raider is the best way to explain that.
Very good. Okay. So of these 3, for the best one, I've only played one of them, and I loved it. I played Doom, and that's the one I'm voting for, is Doom. I had a blast playing Doom. I was totally surprised, too. When Bethesda announced it, I looked and I was like, that game's not for me, because most of the time I don't like gore in my games. I don't like unnecessary violence in my games. I prefer violence to be implied rather than shown. But I tolerate it if the story's good enough or if the gameplay is good enough. And for this, the gameplay was amazing. It was not on my radar at all. And then when everybody came back and was saying how amazing it was, I had to play it. So that's what I voted for. What about you?
Uncharted 4, because it is a fantastic game for PS4. Simple as that.
All right. Well, it looks like everybody gets what they want, because I voted for one, you voted for the other, and chat voted for Dishonored 2 as the winner for Best Action Adventure Game. So I guess everybody gets what they want. Uncharted 4 got very few votes. Poor Uncharted 4.
It did. Poor Uncharted. Poor Nathan Drake.
And I'm looking forward to playing that game if I get a PS4.
It's fantastic.
All right, the next category. I don't know whose turn it is.
I'll go with it. Best
right.
strategy game. So we're looking at the strategy games of this year. The top of the list is Civilization 6. So basically, in brackets, lose your life for a year 6. If anybody's ever played a Civilization game will know what I mean. I don't think it needs too much talking about. It is a Civilization game that's been around for years. It's a very good strategy game. Very, very good.
The next one on the list is XCOM 2. XCOM was a really, really old series that came back with... They rebooted the series a couple years back with XCOM, and basically aliens have taken over the planet. The whole game takes place after the aliens... or during the alien... the first one takes place during the alien takeover, and spoilers, we lose. The second game takes place after the aliens have already taken over and they're running the show now, and you are trying to push them back. Very, very involved game. The thing that I really love about it is when you're playing, you get to name the soldiers. So you're like, all right, well, this is my buddy Zap, and this is my other buddy Lego Red Dragon or whatever. So you name the characters as you're playing, and you really kind of invest in those characters. And then when one of them dies, and the game is really hard and unforgiving, when one of them dies, it's like devastating. What about Stellaris?
Stellaris is a 4X grand strategy game. So one of these 4X strategy games, I believe Civilization comes into that category.
Yes.
And it revolves around space exploration, managing an empire, and and stuff that will take you over your life again. Never played it personally, but I have heard very good things about it.
And then the last game that was nominated in Fire Emblem Fates, or in Best Strategy Game, is Fire Emblem Fates, which is a strategy JRPG. It's basically like XCOM in terms of difficulty, but you don't name the characters necessarily, and there's more relationship building in the game. Also a very, very good game. So what did you vote for, Zap?
Me personally, Civilization 6.
Right, and I voted for XCOM 2. I had a blast with that game, although I really enjoyed Fire Emblem Fates as well. And then chat, they voted for what?
Civilization 6.
That's right. 57% of the vote. They Civ 6 nailed it. I gotta say, the one thing that I really liked about Civ 6, and I don't have it and haven't played it, but I've watched some people play it, and you wouldn't think that the simple change that they made, where instead of having a fog of war, they have an unwritten parchment paper as the areas of land that you haven't uncovered yet. That makes it so much more appealing to me, and I don't know why. It just does. And I just think, congratulations to Sim 6 for winning Best Strategy Game. The next category is Best Multiplayer Experience. So trying to focus on a game where it's mostly multiplayer stuff. And we've got 3 nominees for this category. The first is Necropolis, which is a game you and I actually played together. It basically, people would describe this as Dark Souls inspired multiplayer game with more cartoony looking graphics, and it's really a whole bunch of fun. It got really bad reviews when it first came out, but I had an absolute blast with it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think that it's one of the reasons I don't like Dark Souls as much, because I feel like the controls for it are so much better. I felt like I could get my character to do exactly what I wanted it to do. And in Dark Souls, I didn't feel like that. What's next?
There's this little game that was released by this really small development company. I don't know if you've heard of this development. Blizzard was a development company. They released a game called Overwatch. I mean, it was quite quiet, I think, you know.
What kind of game is that?
Apparently, it's a hero-based shooter.
Oh.
Enough of the Overwatch. We all know what it is. It doesn't need to know too much about it. It's one of those games that just has taken this year by storm. Really is just one of those games that just grabbed everyone's attention, and it's always top 5 game on Twitch. So that says something about it.
Yeah, and then the last one
And
is
the last.
Jackbox 3, which is also a multiplayer experience. I mean, you cannot play that game by yourself. You can play Necropolis and Overwatch by yourself if you want. They won't be as good, but you can. But Jackbox 3, you absolutely 100% have to have other people to play with, and it's a really good game. I don't know whose turn it is to go first. Why don't you go ahead?
Well, I voted for. Excuse me. I voted for Overwatch.
As did I.
Surprise, surprise.
And Chad also
and
voted
then
for
Chad-
Overwatch.
So that was an experience enough. If you haven't played Overwatch by now, guys, go out and play it. Blizzard hold many, many free weekends. It's a fantastic game. PS4, Xbox One, PC.
Yeah.
Go out and play it. Go out and enjoy it.
Definitely. And this, I can't believe we made it through that many categories before all of us agreed.
Yeah, that's
the first
incredible.
time. So
Well,
yeah,
it might
everybody
happen on the
agrees
next one.
that best multiplayer experience is Overwatch, without a doubt. However, definitely check out Necropolis and Jackbox, both amazing games. Next category. Now this one I'd never heard of before.
See, the wooden spoon is something in sports. Must be a UK thing where you're giving the wooden spoon if you come last.
Well,
that's kind of,
even if it's not a UK thing, if it's about sports, I wouldn't know about it. So
right, okay, yeah. So that was kind of the idea here. So the wooden spoon award, aka 2016's biggest disappointment. Run Jump. Why didn't you say the first game before I literally cringed into a pile of salt?
Roller Coaster Tycoon World.
Oh, that's harsh. The second one is Battleborn.
And then the last one, everybody in chat knows what it is. All right, I'm gonna let you say this one because this is your baby right here.
Yeah, this is featured on the podcast heavily this year. It's been my bane of existence. No Man's Sky, No Man's Lie.
Yeah.
Hello again, Sean Murray's Pie. Whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say it, it's No Man's Sky. So the Wooden Spoon Award. So this is, yeah, I say this is 2006 biggest disappointment. So this is a game that had all that hype and delivered nothing. So Run Jump. Do we explain much about these games, or should we just get straight on with the awards?
I haven't played any of them, so I don't know which one's the worst disappointment, but I know that I've heard most bad things about No Man's Sky, so that's where I'm likely to say. I heard good things about Battleborn, so I think that's more of that people were disappointed that it didn't do well in spite of how good it was. And then Roller Coaster Tycoon is basically you build a theme park, and I guess Atari phoned it in.
Battleborn, I think that's why it was there. You know, it was released at the wrong time. Slight mixed identity with the way the game wanted to be. You know, it released alongside Overwatch, and well, look what Overwatch did.
Right. Yeah.
Excuse me. Roller Coaster Tycoon World, I believe, is on there because of the way they pushed that forward. And we talked about it on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, so if you haven't listened to that, go have a listen. No Man's Sky, I can't say it without smiling. You may have released your Foundation pack. You may have released it, but you're still my biggest disappointment of 2016.
All right, and chat definitely agrees with you. No Man's Sky is the biggest disappointment of 2016. And I can't say that I really argue with them, even though I haven't played it. So, Let's go ahead and move on to the next category, which is, and we're going to have to move a little bit faster because I have a meeting soon. So, best MMO. Well, who is nominated for best MMO?
Finalists: World of Warcraft Legion.
Nothing really to say there. Elder Scrolls Online 1 Tamriel is a big update to the game, which changes how you interact with the world. Levels don't matter, and you no longer are separated by race into your different little categories.
Ark Survival Evolved, which I'm slightly surprised was on here for reasons explained probably a lot later. But it's basically where it's Minecraft's dinosaur version, and you build and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, would I call it an MMO? Yeah or no?
Yeah, I was surprised.
And the last
too.
one,
The Division, which I thought was a shooter. I didn't know it was an MMO.
it's a shooter MMO. It is a very good MMO now. It's one of those games that had a turnaround this year. So just before we announce the winners, I'm surprised Destiny wasn't on there, which is also another shooter MMO. That wasn't released this year. The new expansion, so that's probably why it wasn't on there. But there you go.
Lego Red Dragon says he thought Ark was 2015. The game was in, what the hell is it called when it's on Steam?
Early access.
Early access, and it wasn't released until 2016. But somebody nominated it, and I checked, and it had a 2016 release date, so I put it on there.
But which one would you vote for? I'm gonna guess. Let me take a guess, Run Jump. You voted for World of Warcraft.
Yes, I did vote for World of Warcraft. I had a blast with it after I stopped playing World of Warcraft before Mists of Pandaria came out, so I missed 2 expansions, and then I came back for Legion, and I had a really good time playing through it. If you are curious at all, definitely check out World of Warcraft again. Legion really fixed a lot of things, although, to be fair, I actually have canceled my account again, even though I really liked that game, and I've started playing a lot more, or I've started playing Final Fantasy XIV. We'll talk about that at the end.
And for me, it was The Division. 1.4 dropped this year, then 1.5 and Survival, and it's been one of the best MMOs I've played this year, apart from Final Fantasy XIV, but that's another story for later. And chat's response and results are in. World of Warcraft Legion took it.
That's right, 40%.
So well done.
Although Elder Scrolls only behind by 7%. I thought that they did and Elder Scrolls is a very good game that, or Elder Scrolls Online, I mean, it's a very good game that you should definitely check out. And Guild Wars 2, by the way, is not on there because they didn't have a major update to the game in 2016. If they had brought out something like Heart of Thorns in 2016, then it would be on there. But Heart of Thorns came out in 2015, so they didn't I don't think I like Guild Wars 2 a lot, but it didn't have a release this year other than just regular content stuff. That's why I removed it.
All right. So next one is biggest surprise. Biggest surprise of 2016. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself by a year. And we've got on the top of the list is Doom. Excuse me.
Dying Light: The Following.
World of Final Fantasy.
And Overwatch.
We kind of started talking a lot about these, except for Dying Light, which is a zombie hardcore game. Running away from zombies and kill zombies and back zombies. It's another zombie game.
Yeah. So for this one, for the biggest surprise for me was Doom, without a doubt. Doom surprised the hell out of me. I expected it to be garbage, and it was definitely not garbage. It was awesome. I did not vote for Overwatch for this because I thought Overwatch, I expected it to be awesome, and it was, so I wasn't surprised there. What about you? What did you vote for?
World of Final Fantasy. Simple, straight up, one of the best games I've touched this year on the Vita. It's got some cutie, weird art style, cutie Japanese story. I was going to pick it up and go, this is rubbish. But it's got some of the best mechanics I've seen in a game. It's brilliant. Hands down, one of my favourite games this year. So that's what I vote for.
All right, and the winner of the vote is Overwatch with 50% of the vote.
I'm surprised by that.
Really? Oh yeah, because people thought it was going to be good, and it was, or at least I thought it was going to be good, and it was.
Yeah, I saw the stuff they did, and it looked good. And Blizzard are renowned for releasing good games.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Best music / score, and we're going to go a lot faster now because I have a meeting in 15 minutes. So we're going to stop talking about the games. We've described most of them anyway. Final Fantasy 15,
Planet Coaster,
Fury,
and Overwatch.
Who are you voting for on this?
Final Fantasy 15. It cheats because it puts every single Final Fantasy game's music in the game. So there you go. It's amazing. Simple as that.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I haven't played it, but I've heard that the music is amazing. And in Overwatch, I shut the music off and just play with just the sound effects. I usually have my own music playing in the background. And I haven't played Fury or Planet Coaster, and I haven't heard anything about their scores. And then chat voted, and they voted for Final Fantasy 15. So this is another one where everybody agrees. Well, the three things all match up, I mean. So 43% of the vote.
That's it.
That's it.
Your next one is Best Graphics. And the nominations for Best Graphics are Final Fantasy 15,
Dishonored 2,
Planet Coaster,
Uncharted 4,
and I go for this. This is a difficult one because Uncharted 4 looks amazing, but so does Final Fantasy 15. Me personally, Final Fantasy 15 hands down. It's a gorgeous game.
I personally haven't seen either of them in person. I've only seen them on YouTube videos. But I remember seeing Uncharted 4, and it absolutely blew me away. Like as they showed a scene where they're driving a Jeep down a hill or whatever, and I was just like, "What am I looking at? That's amazing!" So that's the one I vote for. And who did chat vote for?
Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15. Whoa, nice graphics.
I'd like to get my hands on that game.
I'd like to get my hands on that game. And that was with 40% of the vote. Final Fantasy 15 won. Next category.
Best Shooter, which I was surprised only had 2 nominations here. The first one was that little game called Overwatch.
And then the other one was Doom. Both very different types of shooters, definitely.
Yes, very, very different. One team-based, the other one alien-based.
Yeah. What'd you vote for?
Overwatch.
Me too. And chat agrees. 80%. This is the biggest blowout, the whole thing. Overwatch won Best Shooter by 80%. So there you go. The last... last? Yes, the final category is...
The big one.
The Game of the Year. And it only had 3 nominations. They are...
Dishonored 2.
Overwatch.
And Final Fantasy 15.
For me, I vote for Overwatch.
And I'm going to give my vote for Overwatch as well.
And the winner of Chat's best or Game of the Year, I can't believe that I did this. I didn't put a drum roll on my soundboard. Like, I just looked over like, oh, I'll play the drum roll thing now, and I don't have one because I'm an idiot. But here's our drum roll real quick.
You win. Perfect.
It's the winner is Dishonored 2 with 46.7%. So that one really surprised me. I totally expected Overwatch to take this. I expected Final Fantasy 15 to do a lot better than it did, though. But Dishonored 2 wins Game of the Year from chat.
I think with the Final Fantasy 15, 2 weeks into release, it's very difficult for it to pick up any major momentum, especially when it's onto one console.
Yes.
So.
Yes, that's... Wait, no, it's also on Xbox.
Oh, Xbox One. I'm sorry, I don't count class as a console. Sorry. That's a PlayStation 4 thing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so you guys voted, and I love that chat is like, what? Are you kidding me? I love that you guys voted for this, and you're surprised that it happened. But yeah, Dishonored 2 won
Dishonored
Game
2.
of the Year.
It won Run Jump. It won the RJS Game of the Year. So there you go, guys.
All right. Are there any honorable mentions that you wanted to talk about at all?
No, I think we got it covered. I think everything was mentioned. I'm surprised that Game of the Year only had three games on there. I expected Doom to be in there because it was a very good game. Uncharted 4 again, solid game for this year. So it's been a very good year for games. I think it's been a very good year for disappointments too. But at the same time, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Oh, I got 2 songs playing. They want to know what happened to Mod Choice. Mod Choice, I didn't really understand the category. I was very confused by it, so I was like, what is going on there? Did only the mods get to vote for this? So I don't remember what they were, but I know that Eskimo Princess voted for the roller coaster game that she likes, I think. And Moonwolf, I don't remember what he voted for off the top of my head, but I took that out because I was confused by it. Sorry. I didn't remember to talk about it with you guys while I was streaming it all. So the next part, real quick, and we're going to go very fast because I have a meeting in 11 minutes, is Game Off. This is where... okay, so Mod Choice was each mod's choice for their favorite game. Oh, see, I did not understand what that was. I'm sorry.
No, not bad.
Okay. But Zap and I both mentioned a game that we think everybody should play. Wait, I think I have the wrong thing. That's from November 30th. I don't have last week's. Do you have last week's?
Talk about this week's game. I'll try and find it.
All right, so my game this week is Valkyria Chronicles. It is a strategy game that takes place in this alternate reality where it feels like World War II, and everything looks like it's hand-drawn, all voice-acted, very, very fun strategy game. You tell people where it is that you want them to go, but then you have to control them with third-person shooter controls. It's an excellent game, and it's got a very interesting story. It's got some hilarious moments in it as well. Like this one guy runs across the battlefield screaming that he's fabulous all the time. But definitely check out Valkyria Chronicles. It's only $20 on Steam, and it's really, really good. What about you?
I have to agree with you. It's a very good game. I played the second game and the first game. I completed them both. They're amazing. So me, I've been trying to find last week's poll, but can't find it. I picked BioShock. It was one of the first-person shooters I really delved myself into. This game is amazing. Has one of the most amazing stories and such clever plot twists. And is horrifically. It can be quite scary in places, especially when you get chased by a Big Daddy for the first time. This game had so many wow moments that made me just want to play it over and over again. So BioShock is in my game off this week. It's a very good game, a very solid game.
Excellent. And just let me copy something real quick. Copy and paste. Create poll. All right, I have the poll right here for this week. There you guys go. You can vote and let us know which game you think deserves to take to that desert island with you. Either Valkyria Chronicles or BioShock. I will agree with you that BioShock has some scary moments. When my headphones came in, I loaded up BioShock. I was playing through it, and I had everything cranked up because I liked the atmosphere. My wife walked in the room and scared the crap out of me because I was so intent on the game. So now let's move on to our last segment, and then we really have to go. That's wish listed. This is where both Zap and I take a game that we really are interested in and throw it on our wish list as something that we want to pick up. I picked Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward, which is an expansion to the Final Fantasy XIV MMO, which I had completely written off, but then I had seen you playing it, and I had to check it out, and I had a blast. And I've been thinking about it and watching YouTube videos when I'm not playing it. So I had a really good time playing Final Fantasy XIV, and I can't wait until I can get up to the Heavensward content and have a blast with that. What did you add to the list?
Shadow Tactics is a real-time strategy ninja stealth thing. It's just got a really cool art style. It's a strategy game of all sorts of proportions, and apparently very, very difficult. It kind of reminds me of things like cross between XCOM and Civilization, and all sorts going on. So yeah, this game looks incredible. So that's on my wish list.
Awesome. And just so you guys know, Heavensward just got a permanent price cut. It was $40. It's down to $20 now, and that's not on sale. That's the new price on Steam is $20. So you can pick up Heavensward for $20 now. But again, you'll also have to buy A Realm Reborn for $20 as well. But hey, that I think is a really good deal. 40 games or $40 for a lot of content. But that's our show for today. Sorry we had to go so fast at the end there. I had a work thing that came up at the last minute, or not at the last minute. I thought it was tomorrow. Turns out it's today, and I have to get on there. So that's it. What do you think? Good year?
Yeah, top year, and I'm looking forward to more. So that is me this year, Run Jump. That is our last show together until the new year.
Right, and so we'll probably be doing the next episode on January 4th.
We're looking at January 4th. Yeah, as long as nothing doesn't change between now and then. But January 4th will be the first episode back in the new year with myself and you.
That's right, and I'm not going to be on next week that I know of, but, make sure you hit that follow button and you'll find out if I am. That's it for the show this week. If you want to support the show, you can do so with a review on iTunes. If you want to be part of the show, you can email us, runjumpstomp@gmail.com, or you can call us at 260-RUN-JUMP. That's 260-786-5867. Let us know what you guys think of the show. What do you want us to add? And definitely mods. Since we didn't understand that category, please email us and let us know what were your top games of 2016. Mods and everybody else. And just so you know, I'm not done streaming for the year. I'm not going to be on next Wednesday that I know of. So make sure that you still hang out and watch. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Run Jump Stomp. And Zap, where is it people that track you down?
On Twitter and Twitch, it's at DJ Zap, and on YouTube, it's at Django Zap.
All right. Thanks as always for listening or watching. We're going to see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.